Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Subject of my vlog today is, can tourism save the Philippines? But before I get started, let me welcome my new viewers and new subscribers. Your kindness, your generosity, your support of my channel truly been amazing. I'll never take that for granted. I'm a 58-year-old American who grew tired of the rat race, decided to move to the Philippines in search of a new life. Well, I found that new life, and I want to share with you my boots on the ground experiences. Only way I know how is by giving you the nitty gritty. Exactly what I'm seeing, what I'm living, what I'm experiencing. Never going to sugarcoat that. Never going to start today. Pre-pandemic, the Philippine economy was booming. The GDP was growing by a clip of 6.3%. Unemployment had dropped to record lows, and the flag was flying high. The Philippines was slowly becoming the tiger of Asia, or should I say the lion, because it was roaring. And then the pandemic hit and the bottom fell out. Country closed its borders internally and externally. Record number people lost their jobs, record number homeless, record number hungry. And I asked the question, can tourism save the Philippines? Well, in my humble opinion, yes and no. Every day I get a question or comment about, when's the Philippines going to open up? As if that's the silver bullet, the magic bullet. And yes, tourism is big here. It's very, very big. Let me throw you out some numbers here. 2019, 8,260,000 visitors to the Philippines. That was a 15.24% increase. Visitor receipts, that means how much money we spent in 2019. 482 billion pesos. That was a 19% increase. Average stay for a visitor here was 9 days. We spent on average $128 per day. Tourism industry accounts for 13.5% of the total employment in the Philippines. Close to 6 million people. And it was growing. I mean, there was no limit. So yeah, it's big, but it's not the only thing that's going to save this place. The Philippines is going to need more true heroes like Jose Rizal. If you don't know who he is, shame on you if you even plan on making a trip to the Philippines if you don't know who Jose Rizal is. In my opinion, he's the greatest hero in Philippine history. And I'm gonna go on record right now to say this, because of my 12 years of living here on and off, that there's a little bit of Jose Rizal in every Filipino. That's the reason why they're able to overcome the obstacles that they overcome to just achieve just amazing success. And none more amazing than Sergeant Heidi Lynn Francisco Diaz. I want to tip my hat to her, winning the first ever Olympic gold medal in Philippine history. I believe they said 100 years. It's quite a feat for a young woman, 30 years old, weighing about 120 pounds. She literally carried the weight of this country on her shoulders. And if you don't believe me, go back to that clip of that last lift. She cleanly lifts the bar. She's paused there for a second. The whole world's watching. She knows these next 5 or 6 inches, she knows how much it's going to mean for this country. And she hoists that bar over her head slams it down, man, and just breaks down crying. I mean, that's a true hero. I'm saying the whole world's watching. And this young lady comes from humble beginnings. Did I tell you she's a sergeant in the Air Force? I think I did. She was born down in Zamboanga City. Father was a tricycle driver, man. Imagine that. I live over here in the Philippines, and I see these little kids running around playing, not a care in the world. I'm thinking to myself, is this the next Jose Rizal? The next Bonifacio? The next Manny Pacquiao? Or the next Sergeant Heidi Lynn Francisco Diaz? You never know. But her achievements in the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 is no less great than Jesse Owens in 1936. With Hitler watching, he destroyed his white supremacy ideology by winning 4 gold medals. Or what about the 1972 Olympics? Mark Spitz did the unthinkable and won 7 gold medals. And everybody remembers the Miracle on Ice, 1980, when a bunch of ragtag USA men's hockey members defeated the mighty Soviets to win the gold, 1980. Yeah, her accomplishment, when it's all said and done, and what it means to this country is going to rank up there with those great Olympic performances. This was an unbelievable feat that she did in the 55-kilogram weightlifting category. Imagine now, when you think of weightlifting, you don't think of the Philippines. This woman single-handedly has put the Philippines on the map again. Not only did she win the gold medal, but she set Olympic records at 127 kilos lifted and total weight lifted 224 kilograms. That's a lot of weight. Go out there, you tough guys, and try to pick up 127 kilos like she did. If you don't believe me, go back and watch that last clip. This young lady who joined the military in 2013. Is that a coincidence? I doubt not. I doubt not. That was a call to action because in 2013, right in her hometown, there was an insurgency. And I believe that propelled her to join the Air Force, where she's a proud member today. But go back and look at that clip of that last lift. Once she gets that up there by her, under her chin, and she pauses just for a second. The whole world's watching. She knows what these next 5 or 6 inches means for this country. She hoists it over her head, claims the gold medal, slams it down on the mat, and breaks down crying. So it's going to take more than tourism. It's going to take more people like Sergeant Heidi Lynn Francisco Diaz, sorry. Francisco Garcia was a basketball player at the University of Louisville. One of my favorite players, as a matter of fact. But it's also going to take the continued efforts of the OFWs. And if you don't know what an OFW is, shame on you if you ever plan on coming to the Philippines. If you don't know what an OFW is. See, I don't use the word hero lightly. I very seldom use it. But OFWs are overseas Filipino workers. These are men and women who leave their countries, many for years, without ever returning to see their families, to earn a living and make a better way for their families still over here in the Philippines. And being an OFW is not easy, despite all the political ups and downs around the world, because they're stationed all around the world. They're working all around the world. All the personal sacrifices. Many of them die at their post. Many of them working 2 jobs just to send money back here. And despite all that, in 2019, they sent back $33.5 billion to the Philippines, second only to Mexico. See, despite the abuse that some of them suffer from their employers, despite not seeing their families for months, sometimes years, despite the hardships, the loneliness, working 2 jobs, the meager savings, they contribute 10% to the country's GDP. Those are true heroes. See, it's going to take more than just opening up the Philippines for tourism to save this place. It's going to take the continued efforts of the OFWs and their great sacrifices. But last and certainly not least, it's going to take the true heroes of the masses and the patience that they've shown during these lockdowns, during these hard times. If you were to fly into the Philippines right now, you wouldn't even know it was a pandemic going on. You wouldn't even know the struggle, the hardships, because they carry all of that on their shoulders. They hide behind that curtain, you know. They cry in silence, man. And it's something that I admire, and they never complain. As hard as it is, hard as it's been over here during this pandemic, were it just as hard in the United States, it would be a revolution, man. But the patience and the tolerance that the Filipino people, the masses, has shown is just, it's unbelievable. It's the stuff that heroes are made of. I'm gonna go on record and say that there's a little bit of Jose Rizal in every Filipino. I'm seeing it. I'm boots on the ground. No matter what the government asked them to do, they did it. No matter the sacrifices, they made them. And that's what it's going to take to save the Philippines. Yeah, tourism is big here. And we all be happy when they open the doors again and welcome us back. But that alone is not going to save the Philippines. It's going to take true heroes like Sergeant Heidi Lynn Francisco Diaz. The continued efforts of the brave OFWs, many who haven't seen their family in years. Many of them working 2 jobs. Many of them dying at their posts, making the ultimate sacrifice for their families, man. Listen to me. And it's also going to take the continued sacrifice, patience, the tolerance of the masses. If you come here right now in St. Carlos City, it doesn't even look like it's a pandemic. Man, buntag. Good morning. They cry in silence, man. These are some brave people. So thank you for stopping by today. If you're in America, it's getting late. Please help somebody before you let your head hit the pillow. And if you're in the bed right now, I hope you help somebody. But if you're on one of them late grocery runs, beer runs, weed runs, just getting off second shift, or you're on your lunch break, and you see somebody in the street, buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink, give them a few dollars. If you're in the Philippines, it's about 7 o'clock a.m. Wednesday morning. We got the whole rest of the day to go out and find somebody to help, to intentionally find somebody to help, guys. There's no excuse. I don't care if it's a foreigner, I don't care if it's a local. If they reach out for help, man, we should be there for them, man. It doesn't always have to be money. It can be something to eat. It can be a shoulder to cry on. But they need our help, because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay COVID free. I'll see you next time.